Kashika with me, who is the managing director as well as the founder of Kashika's Pampered Paws as well as Creative Bia. Okay, now when I met behind the scenes, I asked what Bia means and I wanted on the camera too. So if you could explain us.
So basically, I have done my own branding in a creative way. So I wanted to make a term which is branding creatively. So we are actually meaning helping people grow their business creatively.
Okay.
And that's come from a French term.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's unique. So, just to give a context as to how I know her, I live with my flatmate Tanya, who is mother to a beautiful dog, Potash. And we came to know that Kashika has Kashika's Pampered Paws, which is responsible for grooming the dogs, taking care of the dogs, and a lot more. I guess, I believe. We'll have more conversation around that though. So we got to know about her, and Soham also knows her through.
So her sister was my classmate.
Okay. So he knew Kashika, and we thought we'll have a good conversation around what all she does, because I just knew this angle of it, but now after getting in touch with her, I think she has a lot more to add to the conversation. So starting with where did you start your journey with? Maybe from Kolkata, if you're born here, brought up here, if you could just shed some light about it.
Okay, so warning, it's going to be pretty long. I started in 2012 and I got my first pet in January 2012. And I being a very short-tempered girl, which I am not right now, but yes, I went to all the pet stores and pet clinics, and where I fought with almost every doctor available in the town, where they didn't know how to groom the dog, they didn't know how to take care of the dog, they would feed milk and stuff like that, and which got me to the idea that if I have to do something in life, it's going to be for animals. Alright, so after that I went to Delhi for 3 months, and I went to Thailand for 2 months, and I learned my pet grooming course. And I was just 18 and a half then, and September I started my own center with a lot of fear, because at 18 when you start something, it is not easy. Everyone comes and judges you, like, are you the owner or your father is the owner? So with a lot of challenges and everything. So I started my first step, which was the pet grooming, and then I had doctors added, and then I had pet shop and pet stuff like that. So that's how it started.
That's great. I mean, at 18 I understand how things go around, but anyway, how did you actually search for things around, or did you get some investments from the family? Who was your biggest supporter while you did this?
So parents obviously was there. So for me, I just said that whatever money you have saved for my marriage, give me now. Let me finally go ahead and do something.
So no plans of getting married.
So currently absolutely no, but then you don't know when that changes. But yeah, a lot of criteria, so that gets fulfilled, then I don't know. So yes, I got investment from my parents, which that's how I started doing it. And Google Baba always helped us. So I did a lot of research, and I saw first I thought that this practice in India, so I was there in Delhi for 3 months. But the quality that I was learned in Delhi was not up to the mark for me to open a salon. I was not confident. That's when I went to Thailand for more 2 months, and I met various people, and I was a very big introvert, which you will not accept right now.
Yeah.
So I couldn't speak to people, I didn't know how to talk to people, I didn't know. For me, everyone was good. I had no idea that people can be rough or rude or bad or argumentative, and how to deal with clients. Yeah. In fact, the first bill to cut I didn't know. My hands were shivering. I didn't know how to cut a bill. Even that I learned in this journey.
वक्त सबको सब कुछ सिखा देता है.
Yeah, that's वक्त मतलब और थप्पड़ भी. जब आपके पास कुछ है नहीं, तो आप सब सीख जाते हो. So yeah, that's how it started, and everything went on, and I did my search, and the learning is never ending. I can't say that I've learned everything. It's still on. So I have done dog grooming, I have learned animal communication, I have learned pet
communication, as in you know what the dog speaks?
Yes. It's just like how humans speak to each other. Okay. It's the same way. It's just a telepathy. For example, when a small child cries, the mother knows why the child is crying. Have you ever thought by it?
I have no clue.
Okay, because the mother can telepathically connect that there is something wrong with the child. Because the child is not speaking through words, but is actually telling कि मेरे को ये problem है.
Yeah, but it is still वहाँ तक ना कि कुछ गड़बड़ है, but क्या गड़बड़ है ये नहीं समझ में आएगा.
पता आ जाता है.
पता चल जाता है.
Yes. Even in fact, just not that. Suppose if you're thinking about a friend, and suddenly you see the friend called. Happens with you?
Yeah.
Happens with a lot of people.
Yes.
Just thought of someone and they walked in the door. I'm like, I was just thinking about you. Why did you come? You actually telepathically connected to them, and that's how they came, which we don't realize. Because at the same time, how can two people think about each other?
That's true.
Right?
That is how sages used to do.
Yes. So everyone can do one-on-one communication. It's just that you need to do unlearning.
Yeah.
So you need to go back to your roots, and that's how you can connect. It's just very simple.
Got it.
Because and its proof is because when we started learning, I could tell about a person's pet and she could tell about my pet, and we were all like, how do you know this? Because you don't know me personally, so how do you? So that's how it started.
I mean, in the first set of years, जब आप 18 के थे, नया आपने शुरू किया है, what was your experience? Did you start in Kolkata or did you start from Delhi then shifted here? What was the journey there?
So I did internship and all that training in Delhi, but I started in Calcutta itself.
Okay.
Because I thought the city lacked, and I was the first pet groomer in the city. And I'm the first lady pet groomer.
Which year was it?
2012.
2012.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that, you can now see a lot of salons and a lot of pet culture. But when I started, people were like, "लाने के लिए कौन पैसा देता है?" And they were like, कुछ काम नहीं मिला तो कुत्तों का बाल काट रही है. So I started from there to be, oh my god, Kashika has made a difference. Because I had articles and I had newspapers covering and I had TV channels covering, and that made a huge difference.
But matter of fact, I mean, these reels go viral, right? People are looking at people cutting dogs' hair and everything, and I mean, these are the kind of things now people like to watch because that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's the current scenario. But if you go back in 2012, we didn't even know all this existed.
I understand. My goodness. I mean, respect. That is why we are having this podcast, of course. So I get this point. So from having a small clinic to building up your own team, you might have faced a lot of challenges to understand who's the right person to be with, right? Right doctors, right groomers, right interns or something like that. So, how did you find that along the way, or did you find it? Directly, or how was it?
So I was a person who didn't know how to hire. Okay, so I would hire any person I met, and I would try to teach them and try to make them like me. And that was the biggest mistake I learned, which was that you are you, uniquely you. There cannot be a second you. And for every person it's the same way. They cannot be your copy. You have to make them sharpen in what they are good at. Okay, so this I learned with a lot of hardship and a lot of. So I couldn't fire people. Like if I have suppose 10, 7, 8 people and I need only 4, and I would keep the 3 of them extra. How do I tell them to leave? How do I just fire them? Which is like
that's the hard part of the job.
I think it's the toughest part of firing people, and I couldn't. So I would usually text, "Don't come from tomorrow." So because in front, if you come and tell me that tell up yours and don't come, I will still have trouble.
Yeah.
Like I might send a voice message or I might give a mail or a text that don't come. But yes, people left. I had a lot of theft. I had a lot of cheating, and I had CCTVs were broken, and a lot of things. Like there was even a time where there was no staff, and Sohan and Tani was called that I am in trouble. Please come and help me. And I could keep them for 2-3 hours with the dogs, and I would manage. So I have been into extreme from no staff to sweeping the floor myself, to feeding the dog myself, to having 20 people also working with me. So I have seen ups and downs everything. But yes, COVID actually taught the hard way, which when staff started leaving, and then I had to build a new team. Currently also I have 3 people working with me, but it is difficult to understand people, people's psychology. So I think before getting into grooming or any business, you should study psychology of people.
Yeah.
That's the biggest task.
I mean, any business you suggest.
Any business.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you don't know, it is not about what good service you provide. It's about how you handle people. So what I understood was I was being very professional. I would talk to the point and not get into deep. But here people like to get it personalized, They want to sit with a bhan chai and discuss things, and they want to know when are you getting married, and they want to know how many boyfriends you had, and they want to know that when did you visit parlor last time. So we have to go into that discussion also with the clients, which was very weird for me because I was an introvert. Now for me, opening up to people about my personal life and then thinking that why do you want to know about my personal life?
Yeah.
You know, for me, have you not just come for work? So that's how business doesn't work, you know. So it's about relationships. It's about how you talk to people. It's about how you how they get you, because they are not coming for your service.
Yeah.
Which I thought they were coming for my service. They are coming for you as the business owner, as the founder.
Yeah.
So it's very important for people to gel with you, to have a relationship with you, to get into a personal level. So this was a biggest task or a biggest problem I faced.
And this is about clients coming to you and talking to you and gelling up, right?
Even staff.
Even
so
staff.
I had a borderline with staff also. Like I would do, you know, hee-ha with them and all that, but I would never know what their personal life. Like suppose if someone is sad, I would like, acha, what is wrong with you? And if he didn't say, I didn't try to make it normal.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to do that. Because I have never got that opportunity of someone coming and asking me that what is wrong with me. So you know, that's how it's always been. Like, you know, why are you sad? Like, I don't know how to ask people why are you sad. But right now, with the COVID and with people getting sick and helping people, I somehow managed to learn.
Yeah. But going out of topic, I mean, do you feel that there's somebody lacking in your life who's going to ask you, or you have good friends to do this time?
So I have my parents, which is like my biggest support. So I don't lack anyone as such. But when I get people to ask too much, I get like overwhelmed. Aren't you caring too much? It's something which I can't handle.
Yeah.
So currently, I think I'm okay with the scenario I am in. But maybe I'm still not okay with people caring too much. If someone, like, suppose ask me, did you have lunch? I'm like, are you going to cook for me? I can manage, you know. So it's like, I think being independent, you just know how to live alone.
Yeah. Got it. That was great part of Kashika's pampering Paws. Now let's move on to the next venture that you started. Is it very recently that you started it with, or
2020.
2020. Okay. In COVID.
In the COVID time.
Oh, okay. What made you go that way?
So see, I have a minus point is I can't sit idle.
Minus point. I think that's the biggest plus point. So, we need people who keep working. I mean, there are people who are just sitting around, right?
Yes, I can't. So I just can't sit idle, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, give me any word. So cutting off your topic, I've even done a 20 days of job. So I was an administration head in one of the clinics. Because COVID time, this was not working. So I joined that for 20 days.
Okay.
And I was so bored because they hardly had any work to do.
Okay.
And I would go do the HR's work, I would go do my boss's work, I would go do the receptionist work, I would take calls, and my boss was like, who is this girl? You know, she can't sit for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And for me, lunchtime is like 5 minutes. I can just roll up something and it's done.
Yeah.
So that's how I've always been. So I said I should do something, and that's how I started. So that 20 days job, the one part of the job was to do digital marketing, like just post on social media and write a blog and all that stuff.
Just asking a question, what happened to this? I mean, Kashika's family.
So dogs were not allowed to come out of the house because people were not coming out. So we had my staff was there and everything, but there was no way we could work this.
You were paying them?
I had
COVID?
Yes.
For how many months did you do that?
I think again 3.5 to 4 months.
Oh, you didn't stop paying at all, or you stopped
after 4 months? I was paying half, and then I think 2-3 of them left because of that. So I didn't have any option because I was out of money.
Yeah. So you paid them for a few months and then you weren't able to.
I said I can pay you half if that's okay with you, but they were not okay with it. So
but you lost good stuff.
No, I think now one's a bit.
That's great. That's the spirit.
Yeah. Because I think I'm more happier with these people than I was there. I was more grumpier then. So I think I'm more happy with these people. Like, even if there is no staff, I know I can listen to songs and chill with them. I really made reels together, and so yes, I think I'm happy. I think whatever happened so good.
Yeah, definitely. So getting back to the digital marketing part of it. So what did you do and how did you get into it?
So see, when you're a founder and entrepreneur, you have to do everything yourself. You agree, right?
Right.
So for my Kashika's Pampered Paws, I've done everything myself. From YouTube videos to Instagram to Facebook to anything without any ads or anything, just whatever I could do organically. Because budget तो हमेशा कम होता है. So yeah. So entrepreneur के लिए हमेशा कम है. Like you have to be multitasker. Account भी you are only doing. Client also receptionist भी तुम ही हो, groomer भी तुम ही हो. That's how it works. So I started learning all this, from Google and Udemy and all that, how it's to be done. I'm not done any professional course, but I was in MBA marketing.
Okay.
So
where did you do?
Narsimuchi distance.
Oh, I am doing it currently in distance. I'm in my last semester right now.
Okay.
That's great.
I completed 2017.
Yeah.
So that's how. So I kept on doing, and I knew that my work is going on because of social media. Like whatever PR you have done extra, but it was going through social media. So I said, if I with the small budget could do, why not try and help others?
Yeah.
So I started with the 3D that I was working, and then I thought that let's just make my own website and do it. So I made a WordPress website and I started. There was no plan to stick to this. I was like a freelancer, and then I hired 2 interns with me, and now we have 8 brands that I'm working with.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do the, and they're all small scale.
Yeah.
Some are housewife, some are like a small coaching center, and one is a Loknath security. Something which is small businesses, which they can't afford to have give ads.
Yeah.
They can't afford to pay a lot, and they want normal branding, not a lot of depth of it. So I had
just some amount of appearance.
Yeah, correct. Yes. So that is my focus. I don't want to go on into big scale because I think they need more. A big scale already have a lot of options.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's how I got into it.
I think you got a good gap when you can focus on things, and that's a great part of it.
Right.
But I mean, because this podcast series that I am working on, it's more about the professions, more about how people can move into different things. Because nowadays there are a lot of people who are not very clear about what they want to do in life. They are skimming around. They want to try a lot of things, and they don't end up in the right job. It takes time. So you are a good example of what all you have done, and you have figured out what works where, right? So just to start a digital marketing agency, I'm pretty sure you did everything from basics, and you started, looking out for things. So how did you get your first client, and how things went ahead from there? I understand that you started with your own clinic that you were working with, but what happened after that? How did you get to more people?
So one thing which I learned with time was, and one of my mentors also said me, don't stop. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
So the day you stop, whatever you want to do, so you will not figure out what you want to do in life in day one. Okay, so I never knew I'm going to be in pet industry. I was a dancer. I had no link with pets. I was scared of animals. I had no link I'm going to do this.
You're trained dancer.
I was a instructor in Karate.
Oh.
So I was, I was trained. Nobody knew I'm going to do all this. So how life flips, you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's how. So don't stop. That's the first thing. So what my first client was, I did a lot of cold emailing, and I had a bunch of clients of Kashika, Pampered, Paws. So I would put up status every day. That, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I know, and this is how I know. And suddenly clients would start approaching me. Acha, I needed help. Kitna budget hai, kya hai, and all this stuff. My first client was my Kashika, Pampered, Paws client, which got me.
Oh, okay.
And because I did not get personal with the clients, which mistake I did before, I never knew that 90% of my clients are running business and what they do.
Okay.
I had no idea. So that's one lesson which I learned, that you should know what your clients are doing and what background they are.
Exactly.
You can actually help each other out.
कौन कैसे काम आ जाएगा नहीं पता.
You don't know, and I actually didn't know. So when I checked my list, and when people are like, how do you know them? I said, they're my client. Said, they do this, and I'm like, no, I didn't. So I never got that depth, to understand what they exactly do. So that's something I lacked.
But something clicked, then you got the
first.
Yeah. Okay. And then it has been a smooth journey, or how is it running right now?
I won't say smooth. So I started with the brand which I started with is not there with me right now because they didn't have a lot of budget. But yes, from there reference went down, and from Facebook, and then there are a lot of Facebook groups of freelancers where you keep posting, and then suddenly one of the digital marketing agencies were giving freelancers awards. And that's where I got connected, and I was invited. I didn't know why they were having this. So when I went there, I met 20 more freelancers. So that's how
in the same field.
In the same field. So one was content writing, one was into social media, one was into website. And so when I said that I have 2 interns, and then when they had extra work, they started pushing me, and then I had extra work. So that's how now we are
the community has
the community. So we are now 30 people in the team. So where we give each other work, Suppose if I want the logo.
But these are two different. Different companies that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are a community. You know that if you are overburdened, you're going to
So suppose if I have, suppose I am not very good at logos. So if I want a logo done, I have a friend. So she is going to get that done. So if anyone approaches me, I will not say no. I will like, I will correct you, or I will get it done, and I will forward you.
Yeah. So immense amount of networking is needed, right?
Yeah.
How else can you figure out who is good at what and who can help you with what, right? Wow, this is great. So things have been good till now. where do you see yourself going right now? Do you want to do something else? Do you want to continue with this? I know it's a huge question and you might have a lot of answers to it, but pull out the best one from the bucket.
So where do I see myself? I see myself having at least 10-15 more branches of KPP. That's first, number one. And what else do I see? I see myself opening a veterinary hospital for Calcutta, which lacks, which is we don't have to doctors here. And that's the second aim. And then what I see for my marketing, I want to have an agency for small business and entrepreneurs. I don't want to focus on the big ones. If they come, they're most welcome. Obviously, I won't say no to a client, but my focus will be always maybe a pan wala or maybe a roadside food vendor. Because if you see this road where I am, there's a full of street food. Even they have an Instagram account and they also get clients to them.
That's true.
And I want to focus on those people because I think the one who comes from the ground is actually the one who needs support. Because others they have, and they are very simple people. They are very down to earth, and I think that's the aim. So my focus is small businesses and entrepreneurs, which are which do not have, because so that will not be a more money making. It will be more of branding myself and branding my knowledge or whatever I've learned from. Because मेरा कोई help नहीं करता. So if I can give that back, I think that will be a
Alright, so मुझे सोहम और तानिया से पता चला है that although you are running a business for grooming, you have a lot of dogs at your home that you are taking care of. So can you tell me something about that?
So I started rescuing dogs I think from 2014. So currently I have 16 pets, which is 11 dogs and 5 cats. I had around, I think COVID time the 25 tha, which because of the sickness and death and everything, so now it's come to 16. Out of which 3, I think 7 or 8 are adopted, and I think 8 are adopted. One is self-rescued. She came inside without me knowing that she's entered my place. A cat who got hit by a car and self-rescued came inside. And
she must have gotten the vibe.
I don't know. And now he's this fat and keeps eating all day. So yeah, and but yeah, most of my pets are not very healthy because of the rescue and their team. So they have their diabetic and they have epilepsy and they have kidney infection. So yes, I've been taking care of them. That's not a part of my business. That's nothing to do with this work. And I don't even breed them. They're all neutered. So I don't sell dogs or cats or anything. I don't believe in selling. But yeah, adoption is something I like to do. But yes, I'm okay with people who want to adopt breed dogs because there are fantasy होता है. अगर अपने को लड़का भी चाहिए तो गोरा चाहिए, ये लड़की भी चाहिए तो वो चाहिए, तो dogs के लिए भी होता है. I am okay with that. But I'm not okay with the concept of taking dogs, breeding them and selling them. माँ को बच्चे से अलग नहीं किया जा सकता, which for me is not possible. So yeah, I have that, but the people don't like me for this. That's the one thing which my industry people don't like me because every pet shop owner sells dogs.
Yeah.
So I am one of them who doesn't. So yeah, that's all. That's about it. But yes, my parents have helped me, and अगर मेरे पास और बड़ा जगह होता तो और होता. So currently I do not have so much of space.
But who's your favorite? Favorite dog, favorite cat?
No, I can't say any favorite because everyone has their own thing. One is extremely naughty, one is very good at eating, one is like a Darwan. Any voice he will shout. Everyone has their own quality.
Yeah.
So I can't say any favorite, but yes, I'm attached to each and every one of them. The worst part of having animals, I can tell you, is their death, which is very difficult to handle. I think I'm still overcoming a lot of that pain. So if you are getting an animal anytime, be ready that you're going to lose them in 10-15 years, and which is going to not be
That's so difficult to understand. And I mean, I don't have a pet, but I recently, shifted to flat. As Potash. So Potash, just for context, she's an indie dog and she's awesome. इसके पहले मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा डर था. मतलब अगर मैंने गली में डॉग्स देख लिया तो मैं उल्टा चल के 3 किलोमीटर चल लूँगी लेकिन इस गली से नहीं जाऊँगी. That is the fear that I had. And then I met Potash. अब तो Potash के मुँह के अंदर दे दूँगी तो भी मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता. But I think she's so sweet. उसके वजह से I'm very comfortable on roads right now. I feel really good about it. But yeah, so I mean, 5 things that you want to throw light on. If you are a dog owner, you should keep these 5 things in priority for the health of the dog.
Okay, so first is you should have basic medicines like for their loose motions and vomiting and everything. These few medicines you should keep. You can ask your vet. And which 5 medicines or 6 medicines that you need to be. So some medicines should always be there at home. Always. Okay.
Yeah.
Second thing is if you are a person who travels a lot and if you are a person who doesn't have time, please don't get it.
Yeah.
They get very depressed. Even if you leave them in a creche or a boarding, they are not happy. I used to run a creche, which is I'm not currently running it, but it's painful. Though the creche owner is very happy, but dogs are not. I've seen the dogs sitting in the window, looking at the door, so they're not happy. So if you don't have time, don't get it. It's like a child which will not grow for 15 years.
That's true.
So
It's like similar to old age homes, don't you think?
I think old age home is more painful.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
you've been there, and that's I think because they express and dogs don't express.
Exactly, I was about to say.
So yeah, so the people oldies crying is even more painful.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's just there. If you don't have time, don't get them. Third is do study which breed do you want. Just don't go. Like suppose if you are a person who is not very comfortable with a naughty dog, don't get an indie breed or don't get a Labrador or don't get this. Or you are someone who has a very small flat, then get a small breed. How to groom them, and then you should be financially very feasible. So if you are not financially someone who's not there, because if your dog gets sick, the vet bills are going to be super high, which you might not be able to afford. So you got to be financially secure, or maybe do an SFP or something per month. Yeah, this is my dog, SFP done. Like that. So you got to be presently this thing. And another for a dog or a cat or any owner is you got to be very responsible and very attentive. So ऐसा है कि suppose if a dog is vomiting once, that's not normal. For us, vomiting once is normal. For them, it's not normal. A dog doing loose motion once is not normal. A dog bleeding is not normal.
Extra careful about
So
everything.
you got to be very responsible.
Yeah.
So if you think you can take care of yourself and you are responsible enough, only then. But if you think you're someone who parties and chills around, I will say please don't get pet. I mean, please go meet your friends who have pets. Play around with them, but don't adopt.
Yeah, so being irresponsible is not an option at all.
Absolutely no. Because I have just had a client who took a pet and the pet died in 5 days.
Oh my God.
So that was for them. I'm like, you're not prepared to be. And study. You have Google, you have YouTube. Study before getting animal. Are you ready for it? Yeah.
Wow, a lot of information, a lot of things that I'm taking from this podcast, a lot of inspiration, I would say, because I myself am starting something new.
And I wish you all the luck.
Thank you so much for that. But it was great having conversation with you, Kashika. I hope to be in touch with you. I'll come back, and I really want to visit where all the dogs are there, and I just want to see how things are happening there. And I'll maybe post something here as well on the podcast. But yeah, this is it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.